What's going on, my sprudes and spruettes? Welcome back to
Wrapped Under Plastic,
the podcast for the miniature hobby enthusiast.
What was that weird voice I heard just a second ago?
I don't know.
It was like over my shoulder.
Oh, was it? No, Jesus!
Damn!
We got a guest today.
Canadian wandered in.
Canadian.
Hey,
I saw him wandering the streets of my neighborhood. I was like, hey, you want a jacket and some pants? And he came in.
he was just chugging maple syrup walking down the street with no pants on.
He's like drunk on maple syrup.
I had boots.
Yeah.
And
boots.
a toque,
Yeah.
as you would call it.
Oh, yeah. Not a
stocking
toque.
cap.
Not a toque.
Toque.
I made that mistake in
Yeah.
the video and everyone lambasted
You
me.
didn't hear the end of it.
No. Yeah, we got Jeremy here from Black Magic Craft. He's another YouTuber that focuses on making sick terrain on his channel, mostly for D&D, would you say?
I would say like 90% D&D or D&D type games.
Okay.
But also we venture into other territories as well.
Yeah, he did a Star Wars diorama recently, and that was pretty awesome. So yeah, if you want to check him out, his channel is linked in the description of this episode and the show notes for you audio listeners. But we have him here with us together, so we get to double team him.
This is our first double team supreme.
We're not Eiffel Towering. Don't high five. No high fives.
No high fives. Keeping this professional.
But yeah, so we're excited to have him here and do this format. He has a janky mic, but we didn't buy a fancy mic. We're trying out, testing the waters.
One day we'll have enough money for a third mic.
Yeah.
And headphones that work.
Yeah.
And headphones are fine.
You're not supposed to tell them that my headphones don't actually work.
It's just for the image.
I'm still wearing them. Oh, man.
Yeah, so we got any stories?
Well, you got a story.
Yeah, I got some stories. So in a recent episode, you talked about how you weren't getting much hobby time because you're working on your set area, your hobby area, putting hard work in, countertops, cabinets, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Dropping cabinets down stairways.
Yeah.
Or not you did that. But.
No, my dad dropped one of my cabinets down the 15 stairs. And it broke. But we just took it back and said it was broke when we opened the box. So. Suck it, Lowe's!
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, but someone made a petition for you to state that your time spent working on your hobby area counted as hobby time, so that you would feel better about yourself.
Yeah, it's on change.org. So
Yeah.
you can go out there and sign the petition.
Yeah.
I got to say I agree with that.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. See?
I'm not linking this in the description because I don't want this to be this to be legal now.
It's on the Facebook group.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so if I think if we hit like 100 signatures, I can bring it to my state senator and be like, hey, listen, sign this. I don't know what that means, but sign it.
Yeah.
Put a stamp on it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's one story. The other story is that we ended up getting a room to the Renaissance Schaumburg for Adepticon, and we're all very excited about that because we did not want to have to walk back and forth from some other lame hotel. We wanted to be in the thick of it, in the hive.
Yeah, I don't know if people understand how excited we were that we get to be in the big show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's several levels to Adepticon, and I'll explain this because people might not understand. Maybe Jeremy doesn't understand. You can go to the con by yourself and like be in a hotel that's not the Schaumburg, or you might just drive in every single day, and that's fun. You can go with your friends and be in a satellite hotel or drive there, and that's better. Going with friends is better. And then you can go with friends and be in the Renaissance Schaumburg, and that is the best situation because you just roll out of bed, go down the elevator, and there are all the nerds.
Yep.
And if you got a bunch of minis and supplies, you can just stash in your hotel room when you don't want it, and then come back for it later. And so that's just really, really nice.
Yeah. It makes shopping. It makes carrying around your minis. It makes getting hammered all easier.
Yes.
Which is most important to me.
But yeah, so let's talk about what we painted in this past week or whatever. Why don't you go first, Jeremy?
Well, the only thing I painted this week was this beautiful man's face.
Oh boy.
I came bearing gifts. I designed a little Scott on vacation miniature, and I forced him to paint it, and I painted one myself.
Dude, yeah. My wife posted a picture of me in Hawaii wearing short swim trunks, which will obviously be in the video right now.
Hey, whoa. Back it up here, Chief.
What?
You specifically told me they were not swim trunks, and they were just strolling around town shorts. You're like, no, man, these are the shorts that I wore.
No.
Day.
I told you they had a net in them. Wouldn't swim trunks have a net? Normal shorts have nets?
Maybe they were swim trunks, but you were not wearing them for swimming.
No, I wasn't. Yeah.
Okay.
I was just strolling around in swim trunks.
Yeah. You never know when you might have to spontaneously swim.
Yeah.
In Hawaii.
Yeah.
So
you're
ready.
Yeah.
I became obsessed with that photo in an unhealthy way. And made a mini, printed it out, brought it, we painted it up.
Yeah, and that's going to be a video somewhere.
Be a video.
Yeah, me painting myself on vacation.
Well, yeah, there's no sociopath tendencies in that at all, are there? I don't need any other minis because the minis of me are the best minis.
It was really my gift to Scott because I know he probably wants nothing more than to paint himself in miniature form, but he's like, I can't do that because people are going to give me a hard time because it's too egotistical. Yeah. So it's my fault.
Yeah.
So
You're right. Yeah.
But deep down, I really want to do it though.
Yeah.
That's how it works out. And sell it.
Did you paint on like extra muscles?
Yeah,
because you should have.
No, I made me look tanner.
He made himself look like he lived in the southern coast of Spain. He's like golden brown.
Dude, that's not an accurate miniature painting job.
No,
I mean,
it wasn't. But I was trying to speed paint, and so like the lower half of the model is darker in luminosity than the top half because I wanted to draw attention up, but that just made my thighs and my shins look like I was Native American. Didn't work out very well.
Oh, well. So this miniature, you said you printed it yourself. Where did you design it yourself? Where did you design it?
I utilized Hero Forge to make it, which was tricky, right?
Okay.
It's meant for fantasy minis and D&D and all that stuff, but they have just enough modern normal things and short shorts.
Short shorts is an option on Hero Forge.
They are. It might be for the ladies. I don't know.
Right.
But it worked. So yeah, I made it, downloaded the file. I resin printed it like the night before I came here, and the rest is history.
I got to say, the quality is pretty good.
It's not bad.
No,
yeah.
it's surprisingly well.
It's the best like $7 I ever spent.
I think so.
It's got the rib cages in there. The emaciated look is on point.
Yeah.
Oof.
The glasses though were a nightmare.
Oh my
to paint.
God! Have you ever painted glasses on a miniature?
How do you do that?
You don't. It just looks like goggles because like you can just paint on the surface of the glass.
Your eyes are out here.
There's like exactly. But really, there's like there's like a half inch between the lens and the eyes. And so I just
paint eyes. Did you paint like reflection-y and not worry about eyes?
I mean,
I made dots.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good.
He looks like the Hamburglar on mine.
Just like rah.
Robble.
Yeah, so that was tough. I've never experienced that. But yeah, it was a new challenge that I got to try to attempt at and fail miserably at. I should gloss varnish them a little bit. That might help.
Oh, you think that's gonna fix it?
Yeah.
Make you shinier? That's the glasses. Like,
yeah, just my whole body.
That's the whole thing. Like oil you up for the beach.
It just got out of the ocean in this miniature.
Yeah, dripping wet.
Oh boy. Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, that's something to paint. I'm not gonna. No. All right, Scott. What'd you paint?
I also painted a version of me.
Let's both paint you. Also, Jeremy brought me one as well.
So you will be painting one at some point.
I'll be painting it
for future videos on John's channel. You can just look for the little Easter egg.
Yeah, that's right.
Me at the beach. Besides that, because Jeremy's here, we also did a video on my channel, which is about making terrain and about all the essential tools that a miniature painter might consider going out and getting if they wanted to make the transfer over into the world of crafting terrain. So we talked about some of the important materials and tools, and while we were doing that, we crafted some elven waystones. And they were fun. I got to break out every kind of flock I had and tuft and just go to town with little flowers. And we made a wash. Because you can't use.
Yeah, you don't want to be wasting all your good wash on big ass pieces.
Exactly.
No.
So we mixed them up with some matte medium water, flow aid, and ink, and that was fun. I don't do that very often. Yeah.
Did you get a big old cup of it?
A little jar.
Oh. So does Jeremy know the secret recipes of how to do that in larger quantities?
I know a pretty decent one. Yeah. It's not as reliable as going to the store and buying it.
Right.
Sometimes you make it perfect and sometimes you don't. You're like, I did the exact same thing. What's going on?
Are you talking about Lester Bursley's wash recipe or what?
Yeah, it's basically the same.
Yeah.
I use his.
I've tried 3 or 4 experimental types, even the clear floor polish one, and the clear floor polish one
is
pretty good.
Yeah.
And all it takes is the whatever ink you want in the floor polish. It's not as good as Lester Bursley's recipe, but it's not bad.
Yeah, if I want a weird color wash that I don't have, I just get out the Pledge and drop in some ink for sure.
Oh, so you have that on hand?
I have that on hand. Yeah, for sure.
Because you don't have to mix all your stuff together or whatever. It's like bloop, bloop, bloop. That's me pouring in the Pledge and then the ink.
Thank you for the
and
sound
then you
effects.
mix it up.
I actually couldn't see it until there was sound.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so Lester's is just matte, medium, fluid, water, and ink, right? In various quantities.
Yes. I think so. I don't.
Yeah, I copied his recipe.
I don't think there's glycerin.
Okay,
in his.
you mentioned like, is that the secret touch?
Glycerin is. I can't remember what I used glycerin for, but I bought a big jug of it. I think I use it for airbrush thinner and airbrush cleaner.
Glycerin is used also for preserving plants. So Matthew Sexswish preserves vegetation and uses it for basing with glycerin, right?
Yeah, I've never done that, but a lot of people do. If you want, like Luke does that with what is it, parsley fern or something. He makes trees out of them, and you soak them in glycerin, and it preserves them. But I don't really trust it. It doesn't always work out so well.
What do you think it's going to decompose?
Yeah, they still go funky sometimes.
Okay.
Get a little smelly in there.
Smells like
compost.
Smell like compost. Yeah. Okay, that's what I did.
That's what you did. I did. What did I paint?
Yeah.
I finished up.
Oh, you painted a lot of stuff actually.
I did paint a lot of stuff.
Okay.
I've been painting, finishing up my Relic Blade commission. So I had 11 minis to do, and I finished up those. And I just tried to do the hour and a half per mini on these.
Okay.
And the ways that I figured out how to do it pretty well is I mixed my own contrast paint. I don't have any contrast paint, so I just use contrast medium and inks, and sometimes paints. Inks works better, but paints also work. And dude, it looks just like contrast paint.
What's the ratio here?
It's
half?
No. It's like, I don't know, 4-1 medium to paint.
Okay.
You do not ink, especially because obviously it's very, potent. So and you could even put a little bit of thinner or water in there too to bring it down.
Loosen it up a little bit.
Dude, it totally works.
But really, the magic juice is that medium.
Yes,
right?
The medium is that's all their paint is. The medium and then ink.
Yeah.
So why buy all the contrast paints when you can just buy the medium and mix your own? With
That was
your
theory in the beginning.
That was my theory.
They gave away their magic recipe.
Shh! You're taking my video idea. Shut up.
Okay. Here's the thing about YouTube. You can repeat yourself over multiple videos a million times, and no one will complain ever because not everyone watches your videos.
Yeah, but Jeremy's gonna make this video on Tuesday now.
I don't touch that. That's not my territory. It'd be like, how do you paint? Like, make 3 gallons of contrast paint.
Yes.
From stuff from Home Depot.
I think that's a better video.
Yeah. 3 gallons of contrast paint.
Yeah. And they're just in old milk jugs.
Awesome.
I did that, and I actually, one of my buddies that's in my D&D group, he did get a new resin 3D printer, and so we picked out minis for our characters for our new campaign. And so those are being printed probably as we speak, and I'm going to paint those. So this will be my first time, in addition to painting miniature Scott, of actually painting a resin printed 3D.
Did you find characters pre-gen models that you liked, or did you make them on a site?
No, we just Googled Goblin Rogue on whatever the different sites are.
Okay.
All of them are free.
Where did you end up finding it?
That was Thingiverse.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't think all of them we got through Thingiverse, but I can't remember.
Okay. Very cool.
So, I'm going to try that out soon.
All right. Is it printing on any cubic photon or something like that, or Elegoo Mars?
Elegoo Mars.
Okay. All right. Very cool. That's exciting.
Yeah.
And that is actually a perfect segue into the sponsor for this episode, which is Titan Forge Miniatures.
Oh, yeah. We got a sponsor.
Our first ever podcast sponsor.
Guys.
Yeah.
Woo!
I know. It's a pretty big day for us.
Titan Forge is a company that provides 3D sculpts for you to print at home and use in any capacity you want, whether it's D&D or Warhammer or any miniature war game. And they offer some of the highest quality sculpts on the market today.
By joining Titan Forge's Patreon for only $10 a month, you get access to all their files for that month, as well as going through myminifactory.com. You can see previous months that you can buy at 50% off by being a patron.
So the way the Patreon campaign is structured is every single month follows an aesthetic. This month is demons, next month is dwarves, after that is cyberpunk, and you can find some of their most popular sculpts on their My Mini Factory website, which is the Dragon Empire models.
So thank you, Titan Forge Miniatures, for supporting hobby podcasters.
Heck yeah.
And we hope that one day you bring us a meat and potatoes mini for us to print.
Like a literal meat and potatoes one.
Yeah. All right. So back to our regularly scheduled program here.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a topics discussion for the day. We have a topic.
Yeah.
The topic is on terrain.
Not train.
Terrain.
Terrain. I figure since we got Jeremy here, the terrain master, we can talk about terrain and all the things we love about it.
Yeah. Yeah. He is Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
And I'm Daniel San. And you are Daniel San's stupid girlfriend that gets him into trouble all the time.
Okay. All right. I can take with this role.
Okay. So I have a question, I think, to lead into this before we kind of dig into the terrain stuff. And it's to Jeremy. Jeremy, why terrain? Like, why is that the thing that really interests you, the niche in this hobby that really excites you, that you are so passionate about?
Because it requires less talent.
Oh, that's the trick.
That's the truth. Kind of, sort of. I don't know. Maybe there's some truth to that I don't have the patience for mini painting.
Okay.
Or I don't have the skill set to paint minis well, and I'm not willing to learn.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? That's actually the big
key.
thing. I think anybody can learn a skill. It's all about, are you able to dedicate enough time to get good at it? And you have to like something to dedicate enough time to get good at it. And terrain, I felt, was easier. I don't think I actively made that decision at any point in time, but I think inherently that plays into the continuation of this hobby.
Sure.
But I think to start, it's because I was playing D&D.
Yeah.
Right. I was a DM, and I was like, I want to play D&D. I want to run a game. I need it to be super cool. I don't want to use my imagination all the time. Let's make it look sick.
Yeah.
That's really it. It looks cool.
Right. Yeah, and I agree that from a D&D perspective, some of the biggest impact that you can have from a visual standpoint is not from your character minis or from the monsters. It's from the environment that they're in.
There's a lot of the time where we play on an elaborate setup with a bunch of quote-unquote nice terrain, and the bad guys are unpainted Reaper Bones minis. And the other thing is that being a kid, I distinctly remember being a little kid, going to the museum all the time and seeing those sick dioramas of like the Native American village, the indigenous village, or the old coal mine cross section where it's just like all the little tunnels, and I loved that stuff. I remember being like 8 years old and being in the museum and going, when I grow up, I want to make displays for the museum.
That's sick.
And
so,
great
did you ever go to
job.
a museum and find things like this?
Yeah, I remember it.
Okay, I don't remember stuff like this. I remember going to Gulliver's Travels in New York City, which is like a whole museum dedicated to miniature dioramas. Like they have ones where airplanes literally land on airstrips, like on a fly-by-wire thing. It's super freaking cool. But like in my local museum, to wherever I lived, like I didn't have access to that stuff, or I don't remember it at least.
Have you ever been to House on the Rock?
No, I haven't.
You're from Wisconsin? You need to go.
Yeah.
It'll change your life.
I've heard about it. It's nuts.
Yeah, but that is just a dude's house he built on the side of a mountain, and it's got the craziest, creepy-ass rooms in it. And he's got many, many rooms with he's made his own little miniature dioramas of stuff. And I remember that going there when I was like 8, 9 years old. I'm like, this is awesome. It's so demonic, and it's also, I mean, it's not actually demonic, but there's something about that place. It's just super eerie.
Yeah.
And that, just everything in miniature scale form was so freaking cool.
That's cool.
So I totally relate to that. Absolutely.
And like when you were playing G.I. Joes as a kid,
We did.
No,
Yeah,
I did too.
You had G.I. Joes?
And the Jeeps and everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
Come along
Impressed.
with us, Scotty.
I'm here. I'm ready.
I was the kid that like set up elaborate setups of like bases and buildings, and I'd go out to like on the farm in the gravel pit and make trenches, and I would never actually play with them. I would just spend hours setting up these scenes, and I'd be like, I'm done. And I think that is still true today. I'm like, I don't actually want to play D&D or any tabletop games. I begrudgingly play them to justify building this crap.
Making this sick little scene.
Right. That ooh moment when they're like, yeah, that's cool. And you're like, it better be cool because it took me fucking 20 hours to make it. Damn it.
Don't notice that I'm bad at playing this game. Just focus on the cool shit.
Right. Yeah. Do you have a background in any kinds of construction or engineering? Because it feels like, to me, when I watch your videos, how a building works.
Yeah. So for 10 years, I was a residential contractor. I did home renovations for 10 years, carpenter by trade. And then I did my last year before going YouTube full time, I was a construction manager for huge projects.
Okay.
So, yeah, my background literally is in construction.
So you know why things are built the way they're built.
Yeah,
that's super cool.
To a degree, and that's also why I know what joint compound actually is and how to use it and how to mess with it and how to deal with foam. And a lot of the materials I use are things that I had on hand from that day job.
Sure.
Right? So I wasn't going to the art supply store. I wasn't going to the hobby store. I was going to Home Depot.
Sure.
I always appreciate that he uses all the technical terms for everything,
like
trusses and eaves and plumb
and square and true.
Yeah.
Ha. You know, as you may or may not know, has been spending so much time finishing my basement. I have realized that I end up using a lot of things for all the jobs that I'm doing there that I had been using in hobbying. And so I have like this complete opposite side of the spectrum from you, where it's like, oh yeah, I had that stuff already because I was using it to make bases for my Age of Sigmar models.
I can patch my wall now. Right? A little milliput on your wall.
Yeah, all my wood filler. Like I use wood filler to make terrain, so I was like, oh, this is perfect.
I'm gonna toss a question back to you, John. Is there a particular thing about terrain that you find special when compared to miniature painting?
I think the thing that really excites me more about terrain is terrain is required to set a scene or tell a story.
It's so fundamental in that. You're right.
So you can have the most amazing, well-painted figure in the world, and even, busts are often this way. There is no terrain on busts, but it's so much harder to tell a visual story with no environment. And so I totally did that with the G.I. Joes too. And so it's like, here's the snapshot of where they're at in the battle. And so it's a snapshot. The terrain gives you that snapshot in time. So I dig it. What about you, Scott? Why do you like it?
Man, I've kind of said this before, so that I might sound like a broken record. But I guess going on what you said, the level of effort to level of satisfaction ratio is so much better than that same level.
There's way more instant gratification.
Yeah,
100% more.
It looks so good and with so much less effort. So it's less pedantic than miniature painting. So it's really enjoyable for that reason. Also part of the reason why I like basing so much. It's like terrain making on a very, very small scale.
Yep.
It's so satisfying and it's so easy. The other thing about making terrain is it seems more like a maker thing. You take raw materials. You take raw materials. The brain hard drive is firing up. You take raw materials and then you make something from it, as opposed to miniature painting where you start with something and then modify it in some way. So I think the process of watching someone create terrain is always so much more interesting than watching someone paint a miniature. So I like it for that reason as well.
And I think that with like mini painting, you have a thing that's already beautiful and nice and someone put a lot of love into and a lot of art and effort.
Right, yeah.
And now it's your job to do it justice and finish it.
Yeah.
And I find that very intimidating.
Are you saying you're not going to paint my vampire that I gave you as a gift?
Well, that's what I was talking about, having other people paint it. I will paint one, but I'm going to paint it to it's okay, and then I'm going to build it a sick room to live in. Right? That's how I honor it.
Sure. Honestly, okay, if you're not a miniature painter, jumping into the world of painting a 75mm display model is like the deep end.
Yeah.
It'd be difficult to paint.
But in that sweet ass mansion that she's living
just
in,
distract.
That's all.
Just distract.
Right.
Like, don't look at her.
Maybe some
look
ornate
at the stairs.
Coffin somewhere that she's sleeping in. And
some sick chandelier or something.
Oh yeah, chandelier. Yeah, I'm liking this idea. I'm gonna steal this for my own.
It is a pretty good idea. All right. Okay, so we've gone from kind of what initially piques our interest and what's gotten Jeremy so deep down this rabbit hole. Should we talk a little bit about what we enjoy in other people's terrain work and environment building work?
Yeah. I want to start with one that you mentioned something earlier, made me think of. You mentioned that busts don't often have terrain. And that's definitely true. But there's one piece by a guy named Dave Basilisk, or David Basilisk. His Instagram handle is The Chromatic Circle. And he has this bust, and it's called Out of the Long Journey. But it's a hobbit. It's like Bilbo or it's Frodo. And he has a map in front of him, and he looks happy like he's about to go on an adventure, right? And behind him, David crafted the front door of a hobbit hole. So you see the roof, and it's a grass dome, and you see the big circular door. And I'll put a picture of that up. And I haven't showed you guys this, but I just thought of it right now, and it looks so cool. So one of on my Patreon for my YouTube channel, I do these quarterly challenges, and one was paint a bust. And the bonus for that quarter was do a scenic base for it, add something more to it. And there were so many cool things. Someone did a Luke Skywalker bust, and behind him he did the big window in the destroyer, the big circular one.
Sure.
So that was super cool, but there are so many more ideas that are awesome. Making busts is definitely hard with terrain, but it's possible, and it can add that crucial story element.
I dig it.
Yeah.
I dig it. You're right, it is not commonly seen. Typically,
No, it isn't, yeah.
And that ties into the history of busts in art form as well, that they are usually on a pedestal
in the middle of a room, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, there is no environment. It is just the beautiful marble bust. So
Yeah.
we're kind of assumed that that's how they should all look. If we paint one, it should hold to that same standard.
Right. Yeah.
No, there will be a hobbit door.
So that was my first one. Honestly, we have a huge list of creators that we love their stuff. So we'll do one project from each one just so we can kind of keep this ball rolling.
Yeah, and we'll get you in the show notes, as well as we'll show some pictures if you're watching us on YouTube of these examples of their work.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Check them out on Instagram or whatnot, and see there's a lot more than just what we're going to share. Who wants to go first?
I just did. So.
Yeah, you just did.
Oh, really?
Jeremy,
that was
I'll
you
go.
going first?
Yeah.
So there's, just like mini painting, there's a ton of people building terrain to follow, pay attention to for games, and yeah, they're all great, fine, cool. But what really gets me excited are the people that are using those same sorts of techniques and ideas to do things, mostly not for gaming, but to do legitimate, I guess you could say legitimate art. And there's these two brothers called the Chapman Brothers, and they've done multiple museum displays. One was called Hell, and it was these insanely huge dioramas that I think each one was something like 4 foot by 8 foot, and there was like 9 of them, and there were these incredibly dense displays of hell. It was kind of like Bosch's depiction of hell, where there's just, you look at this giant thing and it's overwhelming, and every little pocket you look in is a little story taking place.
Yeah.
And there's just tens of thousands of miniatures, and it's really, really edgy and weird, and it's a lot of their hot takes on various things, and questionable content, and not for kids, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I just love it. It's so rich and deep and alive, and that's what really gets me excited. And other diorama builders and stuff too, who are doing display stuff or Star Wars or whatever, that gets me excited more than people who are making cool things for games.
Okay. Do you know where this stuff is on display?
Well, that actual one that they did, I believe, and I could be wrong, but I think that when that exhibit was on display, I think there was a fire and it burned and got destroyed, making it like even crazier. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
There's pictures you can find online. It's documented.
Yeah.
And I think they did Hell 2, but I don't remember what that was exactly.
I think John was looking at it earlier and he found Ronald McDonald crucified somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
You'll find like waves of like army, I'm just going to say army people.
Yeah.
And like weird religious iconography. And yeah, like one little spot has Ronald McDonald on a crucifix.
Yeah.
With a bunch of zombies like crawling up to him. You know?
So just lots of little pockets like that of really cool stories and things like that.
Here's one at a train station where there's all these skeletons on the trains, and one of the skeletons that's standing on the top of looks like a Jeep, has a pig mask on.
Yeah.
The heck?
It's disturbing.
Yeah. We'll just say a lot of it has to do with certain aspects of World War II that are quite disturbing, but they've like they've mixed it with like modern capitalism and all
other
sorts of
things that
things.
are turning our world into
a lot of found
hellish
objects. And
landscape.
yeah,
I love it. I like
It's weird.
I like all the Easter eggs in it.
yeah.
Can you imagine how long those would take to make?
Yeah.
And a lot of the, like, I think they use a lot of found things. I think they use army men and stuff, but they have thousands and thousands of like these skeletal figures that I'm pretty sure are little wire armatures with a little bit of putty on them. And when you look at them individually, they're not that impressive, right? But when you zoom out as a whole and there's, 3,000 of them.
You're saying they sculpted 3,000 skeletons on
or
wire
more.
armatures?
I'm pretty sure they did.
Oh my gosh.
Oy, oy, oy.
This probably took
Oh, this must have been
3 years
Yeah.
to do. Yeah.
Jeremy's just bringing it real heavy, real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. He started out a little hot.
You thought I was going to come and be like, I like this guy who makes hills and trees.
Can't really follow that really easily.
I like static grass, so this guy does good static grass.
Yeah.
All right, I guess I'll go next and talk about a guy that does good static grass. His name is Oliver Spaeth, and when I was looking at our list of us pulling these lists together, Scott and I both put him down.
Yeah.
And why I like Oliver Spaeth is he has become a master of the outdoor fantasy setting and in like a small scale. His ability to make rocks and grass and shrubs and trees just look real, and there's so much like a variety in there that we have in real life that's so hard to replicate in most miniature setting, right?
Yeah.
Even if you take static grass and you mix them all up, like Luke's APS tells us to,
It never looks
and-
quite as diverse as reality.
Yeah.
It does. There's different textures and
There's
there's
different
heights
kinds
and
of
different-
grass, like crabgrass and other
There's
things like
weeds
that.
mixed in. And
Yeah.
Yeah, and so what he has done is he has like taken what we usually use 2 or 3 different things, and he's like multiplied that by 100. And so in each of his bases for his miniatures or dioramas, there is such a variety of stuff that's used. And the amount of hours he's got to put in to manually glue every little section of this slightly taller grass, and these are slightly shorter, and then here we're going to transition to its darker brown over here, and like everything is thought through. The way he does algae for underwater stuff, the way he shows the changing of the tides as the things go down, like he is an amazing painter. But I think what makes him way over the top is that his scenes, especially outdoor scenes, are just ridiculous.
Yeah. One of my favorite from him is this one, which is the graveyard scene.
Yes.
Which you might have seen this. That cool ruined tower, and everything has this kind of really cool bluey green look to it. So it's like there's kind of like moss growing on all this stuff, and he's gonna have a White Lord walking down the steps, and it's really cool. Oliver Spaeth is great. We actually bought he recommends a lot of various grass products, and didn't we buy his recommendation?
Yeah, we had to do a bunch of digging. So I'm like, what the hell does this guy use?
Yeah.
I cannot find this stuff.
Yeah.
And I did finally find it.
Yeah.
And so we had a discussion. All right, let's
go
invest in
on
this.
Yeah.
And it's from a Polish company.
Oh yeah.
And so it took a while to get here, and the shipping was ridiculous. And we probably spent together, $300 or more?
We spent a lot.
I spent a lot of money. And really what we got, it was like, I was expecting a box like the size of a coffin, and it was like the size of a shoebox.
yeah. That's the hobby product problem, right? Everything's tiny.
Right? But, I mean, the stuff does look way better than what I was thinking of before. I think I'll be able to find the name of the site, and we can link that so people can give them some love too.
For sure.
But there are other places now. This was probably a year and a half ago, maybe at this point, that we did that, and I think that there are more varieties for people around the world, no matter where you're at, that might be able to offer what these guys do. A lot of their stuff is on. I don't know if you've seen this, Jeremy, but it's on sheets.
Okay. Like pick and pluck it.
Yeah, but it's not plucked. It's like a full sheet.
Okay.
It looks like a full
And you
like
break it
football
up.
field.
Yeah.
And what you do is you take a tweezers and you pull it up, and there's still some glue that keeps them connected. So they have the variety and the variety of lengths and colors and everything.
So you're not getting
already
these
in
little
there.
round perfect
Exactly.
tufts that all look exactly the same.
Yes,
Exactly.
and then you can space that and put different ones at different heights in, and that's how Oliver does it.
Yeah, and the sheet we got had different flowers in it. So there's like blue flowers and little like white pink flowers, and so it's a nice variety.
Yeah.
Oliver's great. Yeah, we love him. Another person that I like, which is not really a miniature painter, but still does miniature stuff, is Chris Toledo, which is on Instagram is I Make Small Things. And what he does is I think it's probably more akin to, or I Build Small Things, sorry. It's more akin to dollhouse scale stuff. And the pictures he posts on Instagram, which are always fantastic, if I can get it, is a really realistic looking scene, maybe in a vintage home, and then in it somewhere is a real scale toothbrush or his hand with a paintbrush, and it's always so startling to see because everything looks so like real, and then what you see is just this giant toothbrush. So
it's the reveal.
Yeah. And this guy is definitely worth looking at.
That's amazing.
I'm curious about his methods and things like that because he probably uses a lot of stuff and has a lot of considerations and also materials that maybe miniature painters don't have, just because he has a different goal. He's not making like a war-torn city or something like that. He's making something that's like one-to-one real life.
Yeah, he's not hiding everything in dust and dirt and grime.
Exactly.
It's like that toilet. That looks like a toilet.
He has light fixtures like that are to scale and look normal.
Yeah, that's totally dollhouse stuff to the next level.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm curious what the scale is of that. I don't know what dollhouse scale is. Is it like 1 to 8?
I thought it was 110.
110. Okay.
Yeah.
110 is like there's a bust size that's 110. I think it
That
doesn't
would
matter.
be pretty tiny.
No,
not super tiny.
No,
Yeah, it would be all right.
Yeah. Okay. 110. Cool. Yeah. So that's my next one. Chris Toledo. Check him out. Lots of cool stuff.
Holy Toledo. Zing. All right, Jeremy, you got another one for us?
There's this guy, I don't remember his actual name, but he goes by Mini Bricks, and he just makes random stuff. He's this guy I think he's from Russia. Sorry, Mini Bricks, if you're not from Russia and are from some other Eastern European country, and I'm assuming, but I'm pretty sure it is Russia.
Yeah.
And he makes like random dioramas, the kind of stuff you see floating around Facebook all the time that moms watch while they're on the toilet and go, that's neat.
Yeah, and it's like sped up super fast. Yeah.
But he's done some really cool Star Wars ones, and I mean a lot of people have done Star Wars dioramas, but one I saw recently is it's really elongated and narrow and long. It's not square, it's very narrow and long, and it's like a crashed scene in the desert with TIE fighters.
TIE fighter, yeah.
Yeah, and like the X-Wing. But what makes it cool is it's not just the crash. Then he has like the parts making the little like lean-to roofs and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just, it's wonderful. He does all the little cabling and on the crashed bits after he cuts them.
His name is Roman
yeah.
Kromanov or Kromanatov. It's an N or a T at the end. But Mini Bricks he's like the Russian version of Luke Toen, but fantasy.
He's
also.
100% the Russian Luke Toen, except he's not focusing just on like train stuff.
Yes.
It's really random.
Yeah.
Just like he does whatever he wants.
Yeah. I watch his videos when I can't listen to audio and I want to watch something. Maybe I'm like eating something or
eating a bowl of cereal. Like Captain Crunch is so freaking loud.
I can't watch anything. Yeah. I love watching his stuff. It's super cool.
Oh,
that's a great one.
All right. Well, then that leads into my next one. It was the spoiler that Jeremy gave, which was Luke Toen.
Yeah.
I think we can't have this conversation without bringing up Luke Toen. And if you don't know who he is, that's fine. But now is your opportunity to get exposed to Luke, because Luke is kind of the YouTube hobby ASMR kind of thing.
I also don't think there's anybody who has a Facebook account that they actively use that hasn't seen one of his videos picked up by a content mill in their field, in their feed. You've seen his builds.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he is the guy that makes these amazing realistic basically model train style. Now, they're not always model trains. Sometimes they're different environments, but
that's definitely his background.
Yes, his background is in those the model train works, and just the realism of his pieces, the way that he uses the speed up shots to show you, like, oh gosh, how quickly did this look real? And sometimes he'll do the same thing as the toothbrush guy, where it's like, there'll be like a little car going down the road.
Right, yeah.
And it's like, that's not a real car. That's not a real road.
And then he's like walking around in the background, something like that. And then he like walks up to the diorama.
Yeah. He also does stuff where he takes his diorama and he like frames it, like he places it perfectly in the real world. And photographs it or films it. And it's like his tree blends in with the sky, and then the real trees in the real world. And it's it's
Wild.
insane.
Yeah.
Wild.
That's like the intro of all his videos
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, that's so. Do yourself a favor and go check out a Luke Toen video. The reason why I first got into Luke Toen was because I wanted to start thinking about all this history in model train builders that we don't have access to technically in kind of the mini side of things.
Right.
Or it's out there, but we haven't tapped it to its full potential
Every
yet.
time somebody in the tabletop community is like, I thought of a cool technique, some old train guy is just laughing.
Yeah.
He's like, I did this shit in 1979.
Yeah, exactly. All this stuff they have done before, and they have all that experience, and they've perfected it, or they found a different material that works better, or whatever. And so it's like, gosh, we really should be students of this instead of trying to recreate the wheel.
Yeah.
You know, so
Mini
Luke
painting.
Toen is great for that.
Yeah. Mini painting is like the America of hobbies. It's like they're unaware of every other like thing out there, like historical models and dollhouse stuff and toy restoration and train modelers, that they could, so much of the technique is so helpful to what we do, and it's just like we just do the base coat, wash, dry brush, or layer and edge highlight, you know, the patented GW paint style. But there's so much out there to learn. But I love Luke Toen. He's one of the few channels that I've seen every single video of.
Really?
Yeah, I love his stuff. He's
That's
great.
a lot of content.
It's a lot, but you know, he puts out like one
a month.
two a month, 1 a month. Yeah, so it's not. Yeah, but I burned through it at Cray when I was just being a lazy piece of shit.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, this is
I got
great.
8 hours to burn.
That's why the dialogue didn't matter. He's like, it's perfect because I don't have to listen.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I'm up. I think a great one is Joshua Lai, who has been known to do a lot of dioramas with water, and he has like a whole article on Massive Voodoo about how to do water without getting that classic like sucking up the side look and making it look nice and pretty.
Shrinkage.
But he has this great little diorama he made that did include water in the recent past. It has a rusted up maybe VW Bug or some kind of vehicle that's getting grown on by all these vines, and it's so green and just very saturated, and it looks so ancient. The windows in the car are broken out, and there's rust forming around the base of the vehicle. And I like Joshua. He always does scenes with animals.
I know.
Yeah. And so he reached out to me to do an exchange one time. He's like, I'll do something for you, you do something for me, and we can switch. I didn't have time to do it, and I want to do it at some point, but he was like, I don't really like classic bare naked like ladies and hairy chested barbarians and or like incredibly evil things, which is kind of my forte, which is fine. But he's like, he likes the more naturalistic, peaceful scene of like maybe a seagull standing on top of a buoy in the middle of like an ocean.
Yeah.
It's serene, it's beautiful, it's different, and I think that's important for our hobby, which is so focused on like killing guys. Yeah. So
Yeah. I thought you were making trying to bring Jeremy in and feel comfortable when you mentioned bare naked ladies, because they're from Canada. So.
Yeah, but we're not proud of it.
Oh, well, you got Bieber.
yeah, you got Beaver and bare naked ladies.
And
I'm sorry about that. Both of those things.
you got George St. Pierre. That's pretty good.
You got Maddie Matheson. No one knows who that guy is, but I love him.
No, I don't know who that is. Dude, I like bare naked ladies.
Really?
They're okay.
Yeah.
They're
Broke
okay.
into the old apartment.
You guys are weird.
They were okay when I was like 12. I didn't know what to listen to.
Oh man, they're good.
Why are you wasting your time listening to bare naked ladies
The
when there's
12
crash test dummies? Come on.
Oh yeah, that's true. All right, I got sidetracked, but Joshua Lai is the man.
Yeah.
No one can paint a tiny 1 1/4 inch by 3/4 inch cube with a penguin on it and look as badass as him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
amazing stuff. All right, do you have any more, Jeremy?
Well, I can say one more, which is my favorite person in the whole world, which is Craftsman.
Does
He's not a
Craftsman.
terrain builder. He's like not even a miniature guy. He just does whatever the hell he wants, and he makes neat things. But from time to time, he'll do more modeling kind of stuff and do little dioramas. And he built a miniature set of his workshop sets,
Yeah.
For no reason, no purpose, maybe just to shoot some stuff in. And he always captivates me because he is pure, unadulterated, just love of what he's doing and experimentation.
Yeah.
He seems to have no expectations, no real plan. he's just doing things for the sake of doing them and enjoying them, and that comes through.
Yeah, and it's super enjoyable to watch. I'm just going to make this little wrench here, and then we're going to put it up on a pogue right here. I'm like, damn it, that's so cool.
But he's like, watching him is liberating to you as a hobbyist, and you're like, just don't worry about it. Just do.
Just do it. And at the end, you're like, damn, that looks really good. That looks like his workshop. And he doesn't do this every day.
No.
What's my excuse?
What's your excuse?
I don't know. I think my hot take on the Craftsman is that he's the Mr. Rogers of YouTube.
For sure.
Because like in a day and age where everyone's like so concerned with like audience retention, attention span shortening, everyone's like, okay, this video's got to be engaging all the time. He's just like, let me just take my shoes off for 15 seconds.
Yeah, right.
And then take my jacket off and then put my other jacket on.
How are you today? How are you today, viewer?
Yeah.
You feeling good? I hope you're okay. I'm thinking about you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
it's so refreshing to watch. And I'm not saying that to say that these videos are boring, because they're not at all. They're
no, if
so
you think his
fun.
videos are boring, you're not a good human being. You need to get your soul checked.
Boom! That's you, viewer. Get your soul checked.
See a priest.
Yeah, his videos are fantastic.
He has an amazing cadence and voice.
Yeah.
If he could not do what he does if he had a squeaky voice.
Yeah.
Like his voice is so, I'm like, yeah. You just like, I'm sitting in the pocket. I'm like squishing down in a bean, like in a beanbag chair. I just like, so.
Like if you ever have like a really bad day and you're feeling really sad, all you want is Craftsman to come and give you a hug and make you feel better.
Yeah.
It's a Craftsman.
Yeah.
God, it's so good. All right, good. I can't follow up with that one either. Why you keep putting good ones? All right, I got a good one. I got a crazy SOB.
What you got?
You may know him as the Hobby Sensei or Seth Amundsen.
Oh.
So Seth is a badass. And I have seen Seth on multiple occasions, but I've never actually like gone up and talked to him. The first time I ever saw Seth it's Adepticon 2 years ago. I don't think I've ever told you this story. It's Adepticon 2 years ago.
No, I'm excited.
Okay. It's balls cold out and it's Chicago, so it's windy as hell. And he is coming out of the side door of the Adepticon area where people go outside and smoke. Mm-hmm. He's got this model with wild trees in one hand, and then he's got a spray can in the other hand, rattle can, and he's shaking it up to prime it outside with a heater in his mouth, going like this.
Are you kidding me?
I'm like,
he's just like holding a heat gun in his mouth.
Yeah. No, he was no. When I say heater, I mean I thought Canadian. He'd know what a heater was, eh?
It's a heater.
Yeah, it's a heater.
A dart?
Cigarette.
A dart?
Yeah, a dart.
Oh, a smoke.
Yeah, he had a smoke. He had a smoke.
God damn it! I wish it was a real heater.
Yeah, I mean, in the context of this story, he's spray painting in the cold and wants like
staying warm.
That's like a
no. It's the fact that the aerosol can is 3 inches from the cigarette.
That is badass.
And just fucking going out on this thing, which is out on the sidewalk, and everything's getting black. And I'm like, first experience ever to Adepticon. First time walking in. First day, I'm like, this is gonna be the best day of my life.
This guy does not give a fuck.
Yeah. Dude, Seth, his stuff is just so over the top where it's like, you know what, guys? We can't really pour resin more than about 2 or 3 inches because you get shrinkage, you get crackage, shit just is bound to fail. Yeah. He's like, nah, we'll do 10 inches and put an AT-AT walker in it. We're going to have it like it's running through the water and it looks real. Yeah, that stuff is just nuts. He doesn't give a shit. And I just, no matter what he's doing, every time I see some work he's done, there's always some greater direction or goal behind it. I've never seen a piece he's created where to say, I'm just doing this to do another thing. And I think that's something that's like, God, I could learn from that. Every time I do something, I should be doing something with purpose. Sure. It doesn't need to be breaking the world apart, but I should not just make another dude.
Yeah. I've seen that AT-AT diorama, and I've seen Seth's many times, and I knew he was a person that was like, okay, this is a guy I've seen a lot. He's got to be someone important. And I've never put them together. That diorama is amazing. And I also know that Seth teaches lots of classes at Adepticon. It kind of makes me want to take one of his terrain making classes, because that diorama is amazing.
Yeah. He does teach the ways of the sensei. So.
Yeah. That's a good one. Another one that I really like.
You're going to wrap it up. It's the last one, buddy, because I think our lists are dry.
Okay, sure. Okay, I got a few more, but I think the one we'll do is Chris Tsuri. he has a lot of good projects, but the one I'm linking here is Smaug. On top of his pile of gold and other jewels and valuables.
Is the pile of gold there part of the original model, or is that him?
I'm pretty sure that's all made.
Yeah.
So Smaug is made, but the rest of the stuff is all scratch built.
I read somewhere how many gold coins he stamped out for that. It was some ridiculous number.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Is it Bilbo? Oh, no. There's a skeleton leaning up against something. I thought it'd be cool if Bilbo was like hiding behind a rock somewhere trying to steal something. But yeah, this is a crazy awesome diorama. Oh. So many little details in it.
Yeah, Bilbo is in there, but he's wearing the ring.
Zing! Oh, nice. I was like, no, I didn't see it. So many little dwarf symbols and weapons and things left behind from slain dwarves. And it's also a great composition. I love it. Chris Suri, check him out. I've mentioned him in the past. His How to Train Your Dragon diorama was also awesome.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot that was him that did that. He's so good. All right, so we now have unlocked all the secrets of terrain making, and we have
ready.
We have tapped Jeremy's soul and sucked of its juices.
The secret is Ronald McDonald on a crucifix.
You're right.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just like Scott's piece for Crystal Brush last year, except of being a witch. It's Ronald McDonald.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's Wendy's. His.
Oh, yeah, mine's Wendy.
Ooh, yeah, red hair. That would have been Wendy. You got to see that at the store, didn't
I did,
you?
and that was super cool. That was really neat.
Yeah.
It's super tiny, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, he didn't think it was that tiny. He wasn't impressed.
Oh, right.
I was like, is that small or what? And he was like,
It's kind of what I thought it was.
it's a miniature. I was like, fuck.
I know how big miniatures are.
No, that's fine. That's okay. It's a miniature. You're right. What's going on over there, John? You okay, bud?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Why?
All right. Anything else you want to say about terrain?
I have nothing more to say.
All right, cool. All right, so on to some newsy news. The first one, AK Interactive, which is a brand that most scale modelers know. They make lots of hobby products, varnishes, pigments, specific paints for certain colors of uniform, for certain soldiers in various armies, very, very much so for like the historical painter and stuff like that. Came out with a new paint range because we need more paint ranges.
God, I wonder when that train is going to ever slow down.
Never, dude. Never.
Really? I mean, it's paint. It's paint,
I think
right?
As long as people in the hobby think that getting better paint will just like make them better and unlock all the secrets, there will always be people with a license to print money.
Yeah.
Jeremy, you're wise.
Wise beyond your years.
It's like, I've seen this before. I was an electronic musician. There's new equipment every single week that's, people just buy because like, well, that's the, if I just get this synthesizer, I'm going to be better. If I just get this paint, I'm going to be better.
Right. The whole gear acquisition syndrome.
Gas.
Yeah, not something unique to miniature painting. But yeah, so I read through the little infographic, which I'm sure you are like hurriedly reading through right now, John.
I didn't know that this new line was coming.
I think the thing boasts a lot of stuff. It basically makes a claim that there are problems with the current paints that are available to us and that there is room for improvement, which I like that. Okay, there's always room for improvement for anything. I'm not going to say that we have the best that we're ever going to have right now. It's never going to get any better. They're kind of vague in what those innovations are, but some of the ones that are obvious are the paint bottle cap has a little divot in the top for you to use the dropper bottle and put paint in it, and then you can screw it back on and you have a nice little swatch that's dried on top of it. So it has a tiny vessel for that express purpose.
The bottles already have that.
They don't have that, but they have a spot where you can put paint.
Yes. Yeah.
That it might wipe off or something. This is like, this is recessed.
Yeah, because I often take them on like some snowshoeing excursions where my paint bottles are getting exposed to so many elements. It's like, all the paint rubbed off the top cap. Darn it.
The cap is knurled in a certain way, and it's designed in a way so that it's easy to undo, doesn't get stuck. And then I'm just saying the things that are obvious from looking at the thing.
They have a list. Did you see?
Yeah, I know, but the things are like improvements to opacity. It's like, okay, well, what does that really mean? Like compared to what? So it's hard. I'm just saying the things that I know for a fact. They have their thing is labeled in colors, so it's like they have inks and normal paints and metallics and like additives to add, and every single one has like a specific color. Oh, they have like a section of paints for high intensity. Like, the bright yellow label is like high intensity, which has lots of pigments in it.
Sounds like they've made a lot of innovations in packaging.
Right. Yeah.
Reaper already did this too with their high pigment, high density series and all that, and those
HD.
all went out of production because they fucking sucked. So maybe these guys get them. You did it right. I don't know.
Decide for yourself if it's worth buying. We haven't used them. We just saw them. Maybe worth mentioning.
The caps are pretty sweet with that like grippy top thing.
Yeah.
Damn it, I'm gonna buy them.
Please don't buy it.
Whole set.
Yeah, I mean AK is a legit company, and their enamels especially are BA.
For doing washes and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Like their rust. I don't know if Jeremy, have
I've
ever
never used
used
any of their stuff, no.
Yeah, their enamels for rust work, rust streaking, rust deposits, crusted stuff. Super amazing stuff.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So, and actually, I really want to figure out if there'd be a way to make your own of that to use in terrain, because I know we use oils in terrain, and that can add a lot of depth quickly. And maybe that's just a more reasonable answer than enamels when it comes to creating larger amounts. But anyway.
So, yeah, that's the first bit of news. Second bit of news.
What is the second bit of news?
Duncan.
Uh-oh.
He's going to be news for the next couple times.
Why do we got to,
But Duncan posted a little picture on Instagram of a Fuji X-T30s, a Zoom H4n, and I think a mic. And I don't know if there was a caption or not, but the implication is that good old Donkey Boy is going to make his own YouTube videos now.
Do you think this means that's going to be his career?
I would think so.
He can do it.
I think there's very few people that can just jump in.
Yeah.
And like, we're good to go. He's probably one of them.
Yeah. I mean, he's got the front side. How well is he prepared to handle all the other stuff that goes along with it, because he didn't do that work. I mean, I don't know, but I
did he edit a video?
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that just
maybe he has a team already.
Dude, where does this money come from? There's no team.
It's okay. So
maybe there is a team.
Just people that love him.
Yeah, people will do that.
But that only lasts so long.
Yeah.
He only needs until he gets the plane off the ground, and then he can kick him off without parachutes.
And then he can hire real people. Yeah. I think just the picture of the equipment that he chose, Fuji X-T3s and X-T30s are quality video cameras, and he posted a picture of a very classic recorder and a very classic mic. I think it was the Rode NTG2. Just those selections, they could have been somebody's helping him out, but if he picked those out, like, he knows a thing or two about what to use.
Yeah, it's a Zoom H4n recorder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a classic one.
Yeah, a solid one. So
yeah, that's one a lot of indie filmmakers use.
Because I think it get squashed that he's not working for Warlord.
Yes.
Okay, because that's what we were thinking. That's the direction it was looking.
Yeah.
I think it was more that he was painting these historical figures that he finally got to like put on social media because GW said you can't
do it.
You can't do it.
Yeah.
And so he's always been painting these, probably playing the game or whatever, and now he's just showing that. So we probably jumped the gun, and that means he's going to be working for him if he's painting their little army men from French militia, 1792. That is a big one.
And the last one you put in here.
Stay tuned. Yeah.
You messaged me this thing.
Yes, I did. So there's a new video that if you are a Games Workshop fan or you are interested in mini painting, you probably have this come across your Facebook feed as well, is they are releasing a new series on airbrushing, which is relatively new territory for GW. I know they had their old weird airbrush proprietary thing years ago, and that never worked, obviously reasons. But they have Caleb Wissenbeck.
Good old Caleb
of airbrush notoriety.
Yep.
He is well known for that.
Yes.
And they're making this video series about their air paints, which air paints for Citadel have been around for a while, not super long, but it's like they initially got like thrown under the rug once we got contrast stuff. So it was just like, oh, air paints are, which all they are is they're pretty thin versions of GW's regular paints. It's the exact same line, the exact same colors. They're just thinner for an airbrush. So they're going to do a series of videos on this, and it's videos. So it was interesting how they're bringing in somebody not associated with the company to have these videos.
A subject matter expert, yeah. He does teach a lot of classes about beginner and advanced airbrush use. I don't know. I think this is just GW trying to get a piece of the pie of, you know, very typical categories or subjects for videos you see on YouTube, right? So beginner airbrusher or a series on airbrushing is a very typical thing that you can find if you go and Google search it. I mean, I did a video just for beginners about airbrushing, going over every single, you know, type of airbrush and the internals and how they function, even the physics behind, you know, why they propel paint in the way they do. So yeah, I think it's just, we want to do what other people are doing. We want to do it in our format, in our style, with our people, and on our platform. Because it's not going on YouTube, right? It's going on Warhammer Community.
Correct.
Yeah, which has their own player and stuff. So, okay. We're in a wait and see moment because the first video is a minute and 16 seconds long or something like that. It's like, this is the series. We're going to do it.
Right.
And it's like, okay, thank you.
The following clip was recorded and we wanted to share with you as we got off topic and talked about food for 20 minutes. I want to do this first. Uh-oh. Second one is wings.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Dude, Jeremy was ripping some fatties last night, dude.
What was that?
Yeah, the wings, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you guys, where'd you get wings from?
Okay, so we were gonna go get Punch Pizza, but then we saw Buffalo Wild Wings, and Jeremy was like, "Oh, they don't have that in Canada."
I was like, I only know that from Good Mythical Morning.
"Yeah." So we got some beat ups, and it was killer because it was
B-dubs.
buy one get one for the traditional. So this crazy guy,
40.
he gets. I'm not kidding. He got the large, and then because of that, we got the free large. So we got 40 or whatever, 38 fucking wings.
How many
And-
different sauces did you try?
4.
We should probably be recording this.
Okay.
Or are we recording?
We are.
We are. It didn't stop.
Stop. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're recording. So yeah, I had 18, 19 wings. He had 18, 19 wings, 4 flavors each.
You got closer to the finish than I did, though.
I had 2 left.
You had
Yeah.
2 left. I had like
3
3 left,
Yeah.
maybe, and I tapped out.
Yeah.
I think both of us could have eaten them.
Sure.
But we had nothing to prove, and
Yeah,
I didn't want to feel like I was dying.
yeah, it would have been
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get the meat sweats, heat sweats.
Yeah.
That's a double sweats.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then we didn't eat anything else. Like, it was just meat.
Yeah.
It was like, and like a piece of celery.
Yeah, and a carrot.
Oh, no side of wedges or
no
nothing?
slaw, no nothing.
No
just
fries?
meat.
It was just brown bubbly soda and saucy
Oh,
wings.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yummy. So what was your favorite sauce?
The honey barbecue was the best of the 4 that I got.
Okay.
The salt and pepper was good, but man, it was like, what was it, spicy garlic? That one was a disappointment.
Yeah, it didn't taste like anything like garlic.
No, it was just like a creamy buffalo sauce, and it was that's why I didn't finish all my wings. If that batch was as good as the other 3 choices, I probably would have powered through all of them. But
Okay,
those ones.
I anticipate the answer to this question, but was Buffalo Wild Wings special in any way to you, or is it just like normal wings?
Well, it was special to me because it was a brand that I recognized
Yeah.
from Good Mythical Morning.
Yeah.
They actually, in terms of the wings themselves in the vacuum, it's like, these are perfectly average wings.
yeah.
They
right?
are.
They weren't
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
They weren't bad. Like I said to you before we went in, there's no such thing as an awful wing. I guess there is, but
Flabby wing is awful.
you know, I guess there's somewhere it's like they boil them and then toss them in sauce, and you're like, what are you doing? There's no crisp. Ugh.
Yeah, that's what I mean by flabby wing. No crispness.
What I would call casino wings. Like you go to like the casino and they have the 100 wings for $10, and it's just a
Yes.
big bowl of like. Ugh.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like, a not great chicken wing is still good.
Yeah, very
And
good.
that's what these were. They were above average, but not amazing. I was impressed with the volume of sauce options. It was a pretty good selection of options. And the fact that you could mix them, you know, some places are stingy with that. Like, you're gonna order it, it's a full order of that. You don't want to break them up, and
yeah.
so that was good.
Yeah, they're pretty flexible in the flavors.
I think the best sauce is a sauce that's not on the menu.
What?
It's called Vampire Slayer.
It's a real thing?
Yeah, it's a real thing. It's 50-50 mix of spicy garlic and garlic parmesan. And they mix it together.
Okay, we just like shit on spicy garlic. Sorry
Maybe
about
if you
that.
mix in
Spicy
the
garlic is my favorite flavor.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Does anything
Okay.
like garlic?
It's just like orange sauce. There's no garlic.
It tastes like mild.
It tastes like medium. Like when I want buffalo
Do
wings,
you
I
like
want
buffalo wings?
Yes.
See, I don't like buffalo
I
wings.
do.
I do.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so I like, it's like a slightly spicier than medium buffalo wing sauce with a little bit of a different flavor to it. So it's not just strictly like Frank's Red Hot kind of flavor.
Yeah.
So So
There you go.
So there.
So you got the Americana experience of Buffalo
I
Wild
suppose
Wings.
so.
My other tip for Buffalo Wild Wings is I always order my wings.
John's hot tips.
Hot tips. Hot takes. Always order my wings extra crispy.
Oh, I could get behind that. I
didn't
like
know
a
you
crispy
could do
ring.
that.
Yep, you can. And they know it. They know to do it. And they're like, okay, sure. Especially if I do the rub. Did you do like the salt and pepper rub?
Yeah, like the lemon pepper or whatever.
Yes, it's extra good
And
on
see,
the rub ones.
I'm more of a dry wing guy, and that's the thing is that they had a good spread of sauces, but like every wing place, the dry wing selections are underrepresented in comparison to the sauciness ones.
Right.
We got to even that out. We got to get parity
Equal
here.
opportunity.
The problem with
Hey, it doesn't mean less sauce. It just means more seasoning.
Yeah, more seasoning options. I could stand behind this.
The problem with dry wings often is these places kind of overcook these things. Then you put dry sauce on it. It's kind of more chewy than it is like nice and moist. So, okay, this is another important question. Is drummies versus flats. And I think I like flats the most because you get those two bones and that middle
Suck
section
that
of
middle
meat
out.
is nice and moist because the bones kind of like insulate the heat around it and protects that meat from getting overcooked. Whereas with the drummy, you got all this kind of sinewy crap and it's kind of drier. I mean, I like both, but I think flats are the way to go for me.
Yeah, I like to mix it up. I usually do in every other. I'll eat a drummy,
Right.
then I'll eat a flat, and then I'll eat a drum. If I had just the one, I had to pick one, I'd take the flat. As long as you are a seasoned wing eater and you know how to get those things with your mouth.
Right.
If you're a noob and you were using your fingers to pop those two bones out, I can see
gotta
where
suck
that
out
would
the
be a
middle.
problem.
Yeah, you separate the two bones, you can pull it right out, then you can just the whole thing, dude.
Take it all down.
All down.
This is the most important conversation of this whole podcast episode right here.
Wing eating
We're talking about
education.
wings. And as soon as we're done with this, we're going to go get tendies.
Yeah. Because to be fair, I think at least 30% of our time over the past couple days has been deep discussion about snacks.
This guy is a snack god.
Oh, he knows it all.
No, I'm just like snack autistic.
That's his other hobby, okay? It's actually, he cares more about that than making terrain. It's
It's true,
snacks.
100%.
Oh.
We talked about snacks for hours the first day he got here because he brought a whole box of Canadian snacks. And they're great. And he was just like talking about the history of them, like how they're made, like the company's policy. It was intense, dude.
I saw
love my
ketchup chips.
I love my
Yeah.
snack food,
Yeah.
and I love like trivia about snacks, and I love regional snacks. And
Oh. Did you find any regional snacks we have here that he could take home with him?
yes, we did find one. So I got
yes.
the problem is that America offers many great snack foods that have entered the Canadian market, so I can get them no problem,
sure.
right? So in Canada, we have most of the stuff you have here,
Right.
plus all of our stuff, which
Oh.
I got to say, chips and chocolate bars, we kick your ass, hands down.
Really?
Fight me.
Really?
Fight me.
I don't.
Right now.
But we have both, right? So we can enjoy all the best American stuff as well.
Great.
So when I come here and I go to the store and I'm trying to look for something like new to try, it's really hard to find anything because we either have it or it's not really that different. However, Scott bought me, what is it? Dots pretzels?
Dots pretzels, baby.
And that was
baby.
that was an
Yeah.
A+ snack.
Yeah.
That
I
is
was
a
impressed.
Great idea to get. I wouldn't have thought of that, but
it was
that's
Amber's idea.
yeah, that's one of the best ones you could
Yeah,
get.
that was killer.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I wanted to get chicken and a biscuit. Do you know what that is?
Oh, absolutely, I do.
Yeah.
They're almost always in our cupboard at home.
Yeah. So, but the thing about Canadian snacks is they're really intense in their
Yeah.
flavor.
Oh, yeah.
And chicken and a
Really?
biscuit is subtle. I think it's subtle, isn't it? Subtle?
It's subtle, but it's a cracker that tastes like chicken, which is freaking weird. So
Most Canadian like chips and stuff burn your mouth. Like, do you like the skin inside your mouth? Like, because you're not going to have it after all that vinegar
just
and
shreds. Right
yeah.
there. I love me some
Like
vinegary snacks.
double
though.
the seasoning of American
Oh,
snacks a lot
wow.
of the time.
It's a lot. Yeah. Like the ketchup chips are coated. Like they're red.
It's like they have to offset the protective coating of maple syrup that we have
Sure.
built up over time. It has to cut through.
Yeah. Okay, I get that. Yeah, there's something in the genes of
Yeah.
your peoples
Maybe
over
just
the years.
Too many smokers back in the day. I don't know.
Honestly, there's probably some tie to that with loss of taste buds.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. Yeah. But on that same subject, he brought for us some honey dill sauce to try out,
Honey
which is a
dill
Manitoba
sauce.
Yeah.
special dipping sauce
For
And
chicken.
He wants us to do it for chicken.
Basically, you go get chicken in any capacity, chicken fingers, whatever, you're going to get some honey dill sauce at every restaurant. But it's not a Canadian thing. It's a Winnipeg thing.
Winnipeg.
Oh, just Winnipeg, not Manitoba.
Winnipeg and like the surrounding small communities.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
it's a Winnipeg thing.
So we're gonna
We're going to sneak in some sauce.
Sneak in
or
the
bring
bottle
home
of
some
sauce.
tendies. I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna sneak in the sauce because this needs to
They
be.
shouldn't care about that.
No, this is going to be our mission.
Oh, okay.
We're not going to let anybody see it. And
if they get mad, just be like, it's okay. He's Canadian. He doesn't understand.
yeah, he doesn't even understand.
He doesn't speak
Sorry,
English.
eh?
Yeah. Start speaking French.
You don't know French, do you?
No.
Merci beaucoup.
No Canadians know French.
Okay. All right. So we're going to sneak that in. And if it's a big hit, then I'll just like walk around to all the other people eating there and I'll pour some on their chicken. Be like, you got punked.
That would go over well.
Oh man, now if you guys don't like it, it's been so hyped.
It's okay.
I love Dill.
Let's reduce the hype right now. It's okay if it's not amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
It's fun to try anyway.
He'll get to try cane sauce.
Sauces are good.
Cane
you
sauce is
can't
good.
hate a sauce.
No, you can't. Sauces are very good.
Cane
Condiments
sauce
are
is a
good.
great sauce. Well, I think that's it, boys.
Welcome to the end of the podcast.
We did it. I want to thank Jeremy for walking all the way from Canada to come here.
Pretty
today.
far.
His boots and his
so
tube.
cold.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, those
To tropical Minnesota. So warm here.
It is so warm.
Today it is.
I think it's warm at home too right now. though.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually, when you said something about that, I was like, I had this part of me that it's like, grr, it's not any warmer here than Canada.
We are like where I am is definitely colder than Minnesota on the whole, but we're probably having a warm week as well. I
Okay.
would think.
All right, I didn't want you to like actually
But
think it's
listen,
35 degrees in Minnesota.
Your
in
cold.
winter.
Your cold is legit.
Yeah,
I respect Minnesotans and their ability to brave winter. But it can't be quite as cold because I realized an observation, and you were like, "What the hell are you talking about?" We're in the parking lot, Home Depot, and I looked at all the cars. I'm like, nobody has block heater cords. What's going on?
Do you know what this is?
Do you know what a block heater is?
No.
Then you guys don't know real cold.
Oh.
He's flexing on us right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
flex.
Well, yeah, where you plug it in.
We put a heater on our engine block to keep our oil liquid because it gets so cold that the oil starts to get solid. You try to turn your engine over, it struggles, and your battery dies. That's why all these prairie cars have cords hanging out. They're not electric cars, you dummies.
Yeah.
They keep it warm.
hosers.
But I can't believe because it gets cold enough here that I would expect you guys would have them.
It certainly does. We have garages. Do you not have garages?
Yeah, we have garages.
Okay.
Well, he doesn't have a garage. He turned his
Well, I
garage
had a
into hobby
garage.
room.
Now it's a hobby room and a studio space.
I was wondering why you got such a big space in there.
Yeah, because I parked my car outside like a chump.
Have you done a studio tour?
Just a desk tour. I never did the whole room.
You should do
But
that.
I feel like people have seen most of it in various parts.
But no, I want to see the whole thing. Get the camera to the kid. Be like, follow me. Let's do this.
And you have to come visit me, Scott.
Fine. Deal.
I just
we should,
picture-
you want to do a class?
Yeah, come do a class.
Yeah, I do.
Manitoba and Winnipeg?
Totally do, yeah.
Oh, speaking of, we should talk about our LA class.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Speaking of classes in Canada, we're going to the opposite of that. California, but still starts with CAA.
Right. We have a place in Burbank, California called Geeky Teas and Games.
Yeah, that's right.
And the date is in May, and it is
Second and third.
2nd and 3rd from 9 to 6. The time will be defined before this comes out. So yeah, we're going to be there. Tickets are on sale. I'll link them in the description and also pin it in the top comment of the YouTube video and in the show notes for you audio listeners. Me and Josh are going to go to the same class we're doing in Minnesota, but also in lovely California.
You just call me Josh?
You did, I think.
Fucking call me Josh.
I'm sorry, Josh.
Who's Josh?
Your friend.
Oh, it's like, who's Josh? Is it Josh from work?
You're
Josh.
facing me? No,
Yeah.
John. Sorry.
Let me see your instant messages.
Yeah.
Unlock your phone right now.
But yeah, we found a space to stay. We found a place to rent for the class. We got tickets for cheapo, which are the 3 requirements.
Yep. So we are going to come to sunny California.
It's going to be great.
We're excited.
I'm excited.
It's going to be quite the experience by
yeah.
that point. We're going to be a well-oiled machine,
Yep.
and we are going to bring all the Minnesota nice
Yeah.
to California.
And but none of the cold.
No, not allowed.
Is that our slogan?
All the nice, none of the cold.
Yeah.
Could be worse.
Yeah. It could, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for watching and listening and hanging out with us. And thank you once again, Jeremy. You can find him on Black Magic Craft on YouTube's.
Mm-hmm.
Check out his wonderful video and become a better terrain maker. Until next time.
Wow, that was great.
That was a good outro.
That was
And then you guys just
fantastic.
stepped all over
job.
it.
No, we need to give you some praise right now.
Oh.
That was not. That was the first
was
take.
smooth.
One shot wonder.
Smooth.
Wow. All right. Keep all this stuff in too of them saying nice
No,
things.
we will. Just keep bashing your damn head
on this thing.
We're working out this 3-person thing. Okay.
We'll get better over time. By the time next time Jeremy's here, it'll be so much better than this.
So much better.
It'll probably be in my house, and we'll be playing ping pong instead.
Oh yeah. While doing the recording, so you hear the little ball.
All right. Until next time, for reals this time, we will
Catch you
on the
flippity flop.